Good afternoon, Oxford University. It's fantastic to be here. I have a question for you. Would you like to achieve more in your life? Is there anybody here who would like to achieve more? They feel they've got more inside them? Yes. And would you like to look back this time next year and say, that was my best year yet? Yes. And who here feels like procrastination might just a little bit in some area of their life be stopping them or holding them back? I can see lots of hands. I'm definitely in the right place. Now, I want to first of all say thank you for being here and spending your time with me, because time is your most important asset. It's your most valuable asset. And I would love to share just a little bit of my story with you, because most of you here don't know who I am. And there's a reason I want to share this part of my story. And that is because of what I am going to share with you for the rest of this talk. A long time ago, I was in a relationship. And before that relationship, I was having a great life. I was dancing. I was going to different countries. I was loving what I was doing. I was living in my joy. But in this relationship, he had quickly become my everything. And it was us. But a few years passed and something happened. He told me, I'm seeing somebody else. Has that ever happened to you, where somebody has said something to you that has rocked your world, that has brought things crashing down? Yes. At that moment, I felt that I didn't know who I was, what I wanted, and where I was going. I had no choice but to leave. I packed up my car, I took my dog with me, and I drove back to my parents' house. That hadn't been the plan. I had no goals. I had no vision. I had no steps to take. I was in this kind of vortex. And in that place, I had to try and work out what my next steps were. And so this is the reason why this is so important, because it took me 2 years to start to do that. 2 years to go from that place to where I could start to be me again, to where I could define what I wanted to do again, to define who I was and what my vision was in this world. And I would love to be able to shorten that time for you if you're going through something like this, if you do go through something like this, because life definitely happens. And so I got started in a business with somebody from the health centre that I've been working in when I was in London. She said, would you like to do this, Lucy? I've been doing this fantastic business. It's all in health and nutrition. And I thought, fantastic. I didn't actually think fantastic. It's fantastic for you. I'm not interested. But she kept on telling me, she kept on talking to me about it. And finally, what got me was, you can find new people in your life. Okay, I'm in for that, because I've just moved away from where I was for 7 years. They're happy and they're healthy. And they're really positive. Wow. That was me. I was in. So I started working in this business, but I still was working really hard in that business. And things seemed to be going so slowly. Didn't want them to be going slowly. And she said, come along to a seminar. I wasn't particularly excited about going along to this seminar, but there was a person there who said, something that really caught my attention. He said, for things to change, you have to change. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business? Seriously? I got it all back to front. I've been working harder on my business than I did on myself. That made such a huge difference. Working harder on me. I started going to more seminars. I got mentors. I started to read books. I did everything I could. I got coaching so that I could work harder on me than I did on my business. And that's where the growth really started to happen. So now I could have stayed in that old belief which said, you were a failure. You were a failure in that relationship. And therefore, you're going to fail at everything. Everything. I could have stayed there, but I chose not to. And instead, the belief that I chose to take on was, I am not an acorn and I do not have to grow into an oak tree. And looking around, I don't see many acorns in the audience. You don't have to grow into an oak tree. I see human beings, and human beings can make a stand. They can make a choice. They can change what they choose to change. You, yes, I'm talking to you, can become anything you choose to become. If I look back at that time when I first landed back in my parents' home and I was wondering what to do, I would call myself, I was pondering. I was like, what shall I do? I don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I could do this, and it would take me a whole day to do this one thing. The whole day, and it should have taken, 2 hours. I would, instead of getting on with things, instead of setting goals, instead of creating my vision, I would ponder and think, I'm not quite sure. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I was a pondering procrastinator. Now, I've come across a few pondering procrastinators in my time, but I'll tell you what, more recently, I have come across perfectionists. Anybody in the room count themselves as a perfectionist? Anybody here identify with that? I can see lots of hands and lots of nods, even if you're not putting your hand up. And it's good to know what you are. And so I would name that identity a pondering, procrastinating perfectionist. Not a good identity to have. Not a good identity to have. And so what I would like to invite you to become over these next few minutes here is a productive powerhouse. Does that sound better to you? A productive powerhouse? Absolutely, of course it does. But how do you go from the pondering, procrastinating perfectionist to the productive powerhouse? Get that small pencil out, because a small pencil is better than a large memory. And maybe you're going to say, I've heard some of these things before, Lucy. Fantastic. I read them in a book, Lucy. Brilliant. I heard them on a podcast, or maybe it was a YouTube video. Great. How many seminars have I gone to and heard amazing things, but I've not taken action? Did you take action on everything you thought, that's a fantastic idea? Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I'm going to put that into my business. How many times have you not taken action? Too many. Too many. And so I invite you to start writing down. If you've not got your notebook out yet, get it out right now. Here we go with something that you can take back home with you and start to put into place. It's called coding, and I'm going to help you to start coding. And no, you don't need to be technical. It's okay. It's not that kind of coding. So first of all, the C in coding is cluttered. Does anybody here have a cluttered inbox? Yes, a cluttered inbox. But I'm not talking about your email. I'm not talking about your social media. I'm not talking about your WhatsApp. I am talking about this. A cluttered inbox between your ears, coming in through your eyes. It's cluttered. This isn't a filing cabinet. This is supposed to be used for creativity. So what can you do? You can start a download. Get that pencil moving. Everything that's up here, get it down on paper. And there's something that happens when you put pen to paper that changes things. It's connected to your body. And when you connect something to your body, it remembers it. It happens. You do something about it. And it's time for you to do something about it. So get it out of your head, down on paper, everything that you've got there. And what we're going to do is take you from cluttered over a bridge. I want you to imagine a bridge. It can be wooden, it can be metal, it can be any kind of bridge you like. It can be a magical bridge. And you're going to go over that bridge and you're going to go from cluttered to clarity. Does that sound better? Yes. But then what happens? You've got all of this down on paper and you're going, oh my goodness, I'm now overwhelmed because there's so much I want to do. There's so much I want to achieve. There's so much I want to get done. I'm overwhelmed. So now you need to do something about the overwhelm. Now you need to take action and prioritize all of those things. Highlight the things that are really, truly important to you right now, the things that are very important to you at this moment in time, not yesterday, not in a year's time, but right now. And when you've done that, when you've gone from overwhelm and you walk over the bridge, guess where you get to? You get to organized. Now you've got organization. You know what to do and you know when you're going to take that action. The de-encoding. The de-encoding is distractions. Anyone ever get distracted? You're in the middle of something. Somebody comes in and they've distracted you. There was a survey done and it takes between 15 and 25 minutes to get back to what you were doing after you've been distracted. 15 to 25 minutes. Goodness me, no wonder we're losing so much time in our day. And that report also was in businesses, and out of an 8-hour day, guess how much time people were productive in their business? 2 hours and 53 minutes. 2 hours and 53 minutes. And it's not just in the workplace, it can be at home as well, because how often do you self-distract? I'll just go and look at these. This is what I used to do. I'll just go and look at the email and see what that lovely website, I see if there's a nice pair of shoes on there. I love my shoes. See if there's a nice jacket on there. I love my jackets. See if there's a nice holiday to go on. I love holidays. I was self-distracting. And then, of course, there's the pings and the dings of all of those notifications that we have that can drive us crazy. Oh, I must look because it might be important. Oh, I must look because I feel important because somebody wants me. Turn them off. Turn off the notifications. We want to go from distraction, and we want to take you over that bridge again to go to distraction deletion as much as possible. And there are ways and means to do that. Then we get to the I of coding. Maybe this is something you've thought of and maybe it's not. The I is internal trauma, internal turmoil, internal haunting memories. And if you think of that bridge has got something running underneath it. It's got a stream, a river, a road, a railway track. That's what it's got running through there. And if you imagine that bridge and the top of the bridge is here, The stream underneath it is your subconscious. 90% of everything you remember is in your subconscious. It's in that stream running under that bridge. But most of the time we're at the top of the bridge going, I wonder why things aren't going fast enough. I wonder why that's stopping me. I wonder why I'm feeling like that. And you're trying to work it out from your conscious mind. That's only 10% of what you know. Let's tap into the 90%, and that's where I can truly help, like that, in a snap. So we go from internal turmoil to internal peace and balance. Yes, please, Lucy. I want some of that. The second to last letter is the N. Now, I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners in this audience. How many hats do you wear? 1, 2, 3, 5, 10? More than 10? Yep, too many. So there's going to be something in there that's kind of not enjoyable. Maybe it's the accounts. Maybe it's the social media. Maybe it's the marketing. It's not enjoyable, but I know I've got to do it. There's a way to help you do something that you don't enjoy doing to help you to enjoy it. The way that I found for me personally was to play music when I was doing my accounts, because the accounts were one of those things. It's like, I've got to do it, but I really don't want to have to. I can play rock music, I can play classical music, I can play whatever music I like, because that's using one side of the brain and the accounts is using the other side of the brain. And I can rock my way through my accounts, and I love doing my accounts now. So we can take you from not enjoyable to, okay, that's not so bad. I can cope with doing that now. There was one lady, she wasn't my client, but she loved dancing around the house in the nude. She hated vacuuming. Can you imagine putting those things together? She now has a very clean house and she is loving her dancing around the house in the nude. The last letter of this is G, and this is goals unachieved. Anyone ever set a goal and have not achieved the goal? Especially at the beginning of the year, you set those goals and they're big goals. Oh, they're not always the goals that you really want. They're the goals that you think other people will think, that's a great goal to have. Oh, yeah, a big house. Oh, yes, a fast car. Oh, yes, loads of holidays. But they're not your goals, perhaps. But what really makes the difference when you set goals is doing all the pre-work. And I bet you haven't done the pre-work before you've set your goals. What are your strengths? What are your values? What's your vision? Have you worked on that internal trauma? When you've done the pre-work, the goals start to happen because you're now aligned. You're now in alignment with who you are and what you truly want. Now you can set your goals. Now you'll achieve your goals daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. It feels so good. You tick them off and that dopamine and the serotonin is like, yes, I've done it. Yes, I've achieved those goals. Yes, it's amazing. And so that is coding. And if you can take that away with you today and remember it and implement it, then I've done my job. But it's the implementation. It is all in the implementation. And so I encourage you to work with someone like me, to give you that help, to give you the support, to give you the encouragement, because you do achieve and you will achieve when you've got that support, when you've got that encouragement. So imagine yourself. You're no longer the pondering, procrastinating perfectionist. You become the productive powerhouse. And if that identity resonates more with you, I want you to stand up, stop procrastinating, get up out of your chairs. Come on, everyone who wants to become a productive powerhouse, and give yourselves a round of applause, because that is the action you need to take. Fantastic job. Well done.